Hey, how are you guys? Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. This is JP Sarri, and I'm back again, once again, with another book review. In this case, it's going to be the first Absolute collection that I'm going to review. This is the Hush, the Absolute Hush, Batman Hush collection. This came out, I think, back in 2005. It's just a 12 miniseries that I think includes from Batman 608 to 619. It's 12 issues, but it's one of the, I would say, the best art from Jim Lee. I would not say the best book that is out there, but one of the best that we have received from the past few years. So that really tells a lot of the quality of the writing that we have in recent years. It's a very nice collection. It's a very nice compendium right here. If you are familiar with these books with the absolute versions, they are pretty much oversized. This is the biggest size that you can find for comics. As you can see on this side, it's just a picture. It's a very simple box. I've seen better. I think I like the Long Halloween absolute version is much better. I like the outside. But you can see right here on the side says Batman Hush, Loeb, Jeff Love, of course, Jim Lee, Scott Williams, and DC Comics. Now, after we remove the book out of the box, right there, as you can see, there is the art. This the dust jacket. You can see the art. In this case of Jim Lee, Batman is a very cool, iconic image. Everything is very simple. Right here in the back, there's just like a drawing of Batman, and then right there you see Hush. After removing the dust jacket, you can see right here is a plain black. This kind of finish. I don't remember how to call this, but this is like a type of imitation, I suppose, of leather or cardbox. I don't know, something in between. Many books have this type of interior. It's okay. I'm not gonna tell you I'm too crazy about it, but it is all right. In this case, I prefer the omnibuses. They have a much better outside protection. The binder is much better. But as you can see right here, it says Hush in black. That's very cool, the addition of that. And here on the side, it says Batman Hush, Loeb, Lee, Williams, DC Comics. And here in the back, the same treatment with Hush. So now let's go into the book. But before I go into the book, actually, I want to give a shout out to, in this case, Rob from Comic Toy Reviews. Very cool guy, very cool. As a new friend that I have made, I want to give him a shout out because most of my reviews with books, I have been inspired by what he does with his reviews. He if you know him, if you don't know him, I can tell you, he reviews action figures that I'm not really a fan of because I don't collect many action figures. But I love his comic reviews. I think he's one of the best comic reviewers on YouTube. I see his reviews constantly or whenever I get a chance, and he gets into the book, and I like that. I really appreciate what he does. I wish more people were doing that. I hate when you go into trying to look into a review and all you see is somebody just showing the outside and not really getting into the stuff, and they will tell you, well, they say, normally a lot of people say that they don't want to give you the spoilers, and I do respect everybody's view concerning that. I think it's respectable that how you feel about it, but personally, in my personal opinion, I like to see the inside. I want to understand what I'm reading. I don't want you to tell me the whole story, but I want you to kind of give me pointers. That way I know if it's worthy for me the purchase or not, and that's what I do. And I really appreciate his honesty and the way he presented, and he's been a big inspiration for me, and I still consider his reviews the best. Now after that, let's just go into the book. As you can see right here, it's very cool. You open, there's a drawing right here. It's very nice. Actually, these absolute versions are much better than other books that DC produce. That actually they're not as good in the quality. And it has a lot of great, images and drawings, and you can see everything. Absolute Hush. In the introduction, there's a really cool thing about this is there's an introduction. This introduction pretty much is an interview with, in this case, DC Comics does an interview with Jim Lee and Jeff Loeb. And to be honest, it's very cool. It's a few pages long, and I like it. You know, like there's a lot of questions about what pushed them to do the part, how they felt about it. You know, I really enjoy most of it. I think it is great. I think it's cool what they have done with it. In some parts, I think I can tell you about Jeff. I feel that Jeff is a little. I think he's a little over himself in the way he expresses himself, honestly. But that's my personal view. But I like the down to earth answers from Jim Lee. I think I like him as a person. I like him as an artist. And as you can see, the introduction right here. If you have read the story, and I'm sure you have, this came out back in 2002, between 2002 and 2003. Beautiful. This is a very iconic cover by now. You know, this is one of the best. To me, this is top of the line. This is actually when Jim Lee got into his best. I think he is on top of his game. I think after this, I haven't really seen that much stuff of Jim Lee that I really have impressed me as much. I think he's still a great artist, but I think this pushed him to a limit where the level of quality, the level of detail is amazing. I'm always gonna be a fan of this part where, you know, in this case Batman is battling Killer Croc, and like many of you, I'm waiting for the new reissue statue diorama from DC Comics, DC Collectibles, I'm sorry, now DC Direct or whatever, you know, they call themselves nowadays. Batman versus Killer Croc, I think it's an amazing thing. But you know, always looking at that's the part. It is great, you know, all the detail, you know, there's so much detail on the art. It is outstanding, and I'm sure you have read this, because this is you can find this collection in many in different ways, and different, you know, paperback or, you know, digital download, and I have it actually in all those formats. But I wanted to have the bigger one, the real one that actually kind of closes the whole thing. That really, you know, is the ultimate collectible for this collection. I like it. I can tell you one thing. Even though it's been praised a lot, I consider this story very simple. It's very simplistic, but it's very entertaining, and that's something that, as comic collectors, I think as somebody that reads comics, that's what you want. You know, some people love graphic novels, and I love graphic novels, and I read graphic novels, but I like comics. You know, I like comics that are simplistic, that involve art, but also they have a good sense of history and entertainment. Very, very great cover. I always love this cover. It's one of the best I've seen. If there ever DC decides to come out with a statue like this, you know, that'd be so cool. I think it's one of the best. And as you can see, you know, Jim Lee always top of his game, and actually this is the best. I think, you know, there's not other artists that have done Batman as great as this. And a lot of people want to complain. A lot of people gonna tell you that they hate that. A lot of people hate Jim Lee, and I know that. You know, you can hear the comments in YouTube and everywhere, because they don't like his art, because he said they exaggerated and all that. But I think Jim Lee, he really transformed the medium in a way that make it more visibly, aesthetically beautiful. You know, it's so beautiful. The way the presentation, the way he does it is clean. One thing is true, it's not disorganized. It's not you look into the pages, you turn it, it's easier to follow through the story. It's not as some other artists, they have this problem when, you know, when you turn the page, you really don't know where to start or where to end. And actually with Jim Lee, it's everything. You know, it's like you turn the page. Every time you turn the page, the first thing you do is like you just kind of take a breath, you know, and just see the art before you start continue reading, because it's so amazing, it's so beautiful. And you know, with Jim Lee, you have to go back and redo a couple times to see, because the more you see it, the more details they're gonna come through, and you're gonna see it. And here there's some watercolors that he did actually. He mentioned that he is not as good at it. There's something that he has a hard time doing, but you know, it looks great. You know, Jim Lee trying to, you know, doing his best part, doing the art, you know, it makes it so unique and amazing. But yeah, and I'm sure you have read this so many times before. I'm sure that this is not your first time going through this But you know, like this collection, just the absolute collection, it is great. And for some of you that you might never read this, because probably, you know, some of you are younger, you know, you just didn't, or you didn't start reading comics until a while, you know, you can see this Killer Croc, the muscularity is just there, you know, definition, body definition. It is one cool, and seeing it through the eyes of the absolute versions, it really makes it, you know, such a great piece. And you know, it is a very simplistic story. If you're not familiar with the story, it's all about, it's in this case, a new villain called Hush. There is somebody that is pulling the strings in a Gotham, trying to get to Batman, and Batman trying to find out who is it. This new villain actually is controlling in the background what's happening with the villains and everything, all the enemies of Batman, and you know, and the story is coming all in a way that he's trying to figure out who is this person is, and who is this person giving new tools to the villains, his villains, to attack Batman, and it seems that this person has the upper hand. It's a very simplistic story, honestly, but it evolves around it, and the best part of it is that there's a lot of it that actually in this story, many of the villains of the Batman world, they are involved in the story. And that makes it, you know, a really eye candy, you know, to look at the way that actually Jim Lee portrays it. And in this section is where actually Superman is part of the story. And of course, you know, you'd read, you know, the story, you know what's happening. But if you don't, you know, it's like, you know, he is part of the story. And seeing it through the eyes of Jim Lee and the way he does his art is amazing, as you can see right there. I love this part of this drawing right here. This art is beautiful. As you can see, Batman, you know, Jim Lee takes his time doing his art, but he does it, you know, amazingly. And as you can see, here's the part where Superman is part of the story. You know, he is controlled actually by Poison Ivy, and you know, but looking at it, you know, it's just amazing. You know, all the detail is cool. And the different parts of the art, you know, it's a lot of color in this part, and actually I love the color. And actually the people involved in this, we have of course we have Scott Williams, as always, doing the inking, but also we have Alex Sinclair, and he has worked with Jim Lee for a very long time, and he has done a lot of his own work as a colorist, and he is great, and his colors are vivid. You know, he knows how to make the color, he knows how to work the colors, and he still does. With the New 52, he's still working with Jim Lee, and you know, he's good. And you know, sometimes we tend to forget them, what they do, mostly because they consider that they don't do the coloring anymore, you know, by hand. Now a lot of the thing is done by software, by computer animation, the coloring. But still, it is a work. If you have ever worked with this type of software and programs, it's not as simple and easy as it seems. So it requires, it's time consuming, it requires a lot of work, and I think Alex Sinclair is one of the best. He's able to do it in a great way. As you can see, it's iconic, and now honestly I'm looking for the new Batman by Katabuki to go along with with Batman. I'm sorry, the new Superman to go along with Batman. It's going to be, you know, it was going to be a good, you know, a beautiful piece of art. As you can see right there, Crypto, and actually in the commentaries at the end of the book, Jim Lee's talking about that he had a problem trying to draw dogs. You know, something that he hasn't really done as much. This was the second time that he did it, as he remember. So he gave him a really hard time to do it. They had to do it a couple times. So you know, even a great artist as him has problems drawing certain things. So that's you know, that's kind of tells you that yes, Jim Lee is a great artist, but he's still human, you know, and he has his limitations as an artist. But you know, the art is continued to evolve. But you can see right here, Selena Kyle looking so beautiful right there. But as you can see right here, they have Harley Quinn in this section. They're on the opera. Pagliacci, you know, it's just cool. You know, it's just all the art, all this, the art. It is great. I really love this collection. A lot of people say, why to pay so much money for just 12 issues, and just an absolute collection, oversized collection, when you can do the paper, the trade paperback. And then you say, you're correct, you're right. It's up to you what you want to do. Any way you do it, you do yourself a favor to get this, just because of the art, just because of that. The story, it's all right. It's kind of predictable for me. It was very simplistic. In some cases, when I read it, I've seen that, it seems like, it's so easy to know exactly who at the end is the one pulling the strings. That was my impression when I read it before, and that's my impression up to this day. I don't think it's as complicated, but just looking at the art makes it worthwhile. Makes, the story good. And here's when he's fighting the Joker, because he killed his friend. Oh, there's a suspicion that he killed his friend. I'm not telling you the story completely because I don't want you haven't read the story. I don't want you to not read it. But yes, he is in this fighting the Joker, almost killing the Joker, and as you can see, it's part of the story. It's beautiful, all this, but this, one thing I can say, the watercolor that he used also was great. All the watercolors there, all that stuff, that shows the amazing, the inclusion of the color. That shows a lot. Batgirl, the Oracle now, beautiful stand right there with Catwoman. All this, all going through the story, and as you can see right here, there's a drawing. It's beautiful drawing right here, just a drawing, just this cover. It is amazing. You're gonna see a lot of these little boxes with monologues, and actually Jeff Loeb, Jeff Loeb has been very famous for doing that in all his books, from The Long Halloween to many of the newer books like Ultimatum, Superman for all ages, books that he has been part of, and many others in Marvel and DC Comics. He has done that. Jeff Loeb is, he started back in the 80s, actually as pretty much as a writer for movies like the Teen Wolf and Commando. And then he moved in the 90s actually into comics. He was invited to do, because that's what he started as a screenplay writer. He did a lot of it, produced a lot of stuff back then, and he was invited to start writing for comics, and he started doing that. And and Tim Sale and was the artist that they worked together in many issues like The Long Halloween, and very acclaimed books, extremely acclaimed for the quality of them. I think they had a great team working. They had a great team together. They were a great team together. So that was Jeff, and he does that a lot. He does a lot of those boxes. In the recent years, he's actually now working for Marvel in this case, as a representative or as the president of their division of movies and television. And like the new series that came out, the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. He's one of the producers. He's involved into it, so hopefully Marvel can produce more good quality shows. I think DC has had the upper hand in the last few years with a lot of the series, the animated series. I think DC was in control of that medium, while Marvel was pretty much hitting just in this case not television, but the movies, the long films. As you can see right here, you have Nightwing. I love the details, even the boots. All the detail that is involved in these books is amazing. I really like it. It is a fantastic book. I'm sorry, Talia al Ghul. Beautiful the way he draw it, but also the details. This suit from Batman right there. It just like it is. Art, piece after piece. This is, in my opinion, Lady Shiva right there. You're really kicking Catwoman's butt. Ra's al Ghul, and right there, all this, all the inclusion of all these characters, make this so iconic, so amazing. Really, just the art, and looking at it, I can look at it one time after time after time, and I'm just impressed. I think the art. It's one of the best, of recent years. You can give, I tip my head to to the abilities of Jim Lee for portraying all this. Like I think in this case, I think Scott Williams said it before, and he said it right. I think Jim Lee was born just to draw Batman, and it's true. Regardless of how you feel about it. There's Jason Todd. You have to read the story if you haven't read it. I don't want to give you those pointers to really understand what's happening in the story. But look at the art. Look at the art. It's just cool. It's just amazing. And it goes on and on and on and on. And I think this is the best. Then after that, I think he did with in this issue like Batman and Robin, All-Star Batman and Robin with Frank Miller. And the book, it's okay. The story's okay. The art is great. But I think the art of Hush was a lot better. Much cleaner. Much more full of detail. Much more full of color. And right there, I like that image of Hush. And you can see that cover. As you can see right there. The Riddler. And just go in and the art, and you can see that Batman at his top. It is a great collection, and I like this last cover right here at the end. You have to read the whole story to really know. It's a very entertaining story. It's not as a serious story. It's a murder case. You have to find out who is the one that murdered who at the end. But also it's a love story between Batman and Catwoman. As you can see right here, these are some of the covers. Also includes some of the covers here, iconic covers. As you can see, that one is very iconic. A statue has been made by that. This is very iconic image. Actually, the cover from the trade paperback. As you can see right there, there's more covers, more iconic covers. This spread is very nice right here with all the participants of the Hush, from Robin, Batman, Oracle, Mr. Gordon, Huntress, Superman, of course, all the characters, everybody else that is involved in the story. And here are all the villains. It's just the art. It is great. And here in the back, there's annotations by Jim Lee. He made a lot of these annotations where he present a lot of the goodies and all the secret things about the story that are hidden in this story and that you have to know. And it's very nice because when you go through and read the whole thing and you come back and read this, then you can see that there's a lot of Easter eggs all over the place, and why he did the different coloring, and there's a homage to a lot of the old artists and people involved into this and friends of Jim Lee, but also to the comics in general, to many comics in the history of comics. So it is great to know this, and so I don't want to give you what's here because I want you to read it. If you're able to, you're gonna have a fun time like I did reading, going through all of this and trying to discover those Easter eggs. There are sketches, plenty sketches in this book, in this collection, and it's cool. It's cool that all this is included. A step-by-step part of the art. That's cool too. I like that. I like all these little inclusions that make this collection really a must-have for any Jim Lee fan and Batman Hush fan, or a Batman in general fan. And you can see there's more sketches. There's a lot of bonus features here. There's acknowledgments and there's biographies for Scott Williams, Alex Sinclair, and everybody else involved. This is a really nice book. Now, in conclusion, as you can see, this is a great collection. I really like this. I really enjoy Hush. It's very simplistic. It's not complicated. It's not dark per se. There is dark elements like every other Batman story. Batman has always been a dark character, but the fun of the story is that it's like you're trying to find who is the one behind the situation, who is behind what's happening in the story. Very simple. It's a crime story, but also a love story. There's a love connection between Batman and Catwoman. I like that. I like the simplicity of it. I like that many characters were involved. It's not complicated. This is not Watchmen. This is not the Return of the Dark Knight, of course. But that's what it really makes it a good story. When it came out, it was a boom. It did a lot of great sales. People were in love with the story, and for obvious reasons, just Lee's art is just amazing. I think if Jeff had somebody else drawing, even Tim Sale drawing the story, it would make no sense in the sense on the part of the quality of the material, because Tim Sale and Jeff Loeb, they have done darker stories together, and that's what people are expecting from them. And a simpler story from them, it will be it will be a complete miss for the fans. But seeing Jim Lee and him called together, and actually there were very smart moments in this whole story. So I recommend that. I really recommend it. When it came out, this was priced $100 in the United States, $112 in Canada. Of course, this was back in 2005, and probably it was reprinted after that, a few years later. So the truth is that you can find them for a lot less today, half the price. They still a little steep with the prices in some cases because it's a very sought out story, but I would recommend it. If you're not feeling it, I will go with the trade paperback if you haven't read the story, or you can go digital, because I also read a digital, and I prefer to do that while I keep this collections neat and clean and untouched. That's another way. But the thing is that they don't have as much content as this content. And probably you will come to a moment where you can download it from the iTunes, the whole book and the whole collection, so you don't have to mess with it. But for the old timers like me that love this style, I think this is the best purchase and the best collectible, on top of the line, the ultimate collectible for this collection. It's a great collection. I highly recommend it. It's very simplistic, but it's enjoyable, and that's the point. That's what really matters for a lot of comic readers like me. We want to be entertained. I don't want to just confront the problems of the world and trying to solve them just in one issue. I want sometimes just to ease my mind of the problems that we face, and I want to just have a good time and enjoy that time that I'm reading, the time that I spend reading this issue. So this is a great buy for those that are interested, and I highly recommend it. So once again, thank you for watching my videos. I appreciate your time, I appreciate your support, and thank you for every person that really leaves these comments. I'm always willing, always listening, and I'm always ready to answer questions if you have them. So have a good time, have a good day, good evening, good afternoon, and I'll see you on the next review.